In this demo, we shall run the dividend data extraction graph in the stress test mode. So let's launch the graph first. Windows, winfbp, TCL kit. Start the agent first, then start the front end. Okay, this time when we open, we're not going to open the get dividend save. We're going to open the get dividend. Open. The layout of the graph is almost similar to get dividend save. Again, the data source blocks are on the left, parser is in the middle, and data sync blocks are on the right. And you notice that we have two more blocks on the right here, the tracer and the tracer2. Essentially, these two blocks are going to show the actual data that is extracted from the dividend investor website, right? So the way it works, this stress test mode is essentially these parsers there. Rather than sending the HTML request to the real Toronto Stock Exchange website and the dividend investor website, they will fetch the raw HTML data from the hard disk instead. So the way to run this program is you have to run the get dividend save graph beforehand, because it's from the get dividend save graph that all the raw HTML pages will be saved into the hard disk. And after running that, we run this one, this current graph, and with this current graph, with the way we configure these blocks, for example, shift right click. Here we specify read cache, and by that we mean that whatever HTML requests these parsers receive from the data sources, they will change the HTML request into a file name and then fetch the file from the hard disk. So that's what is going to happen. And thus, with this graph running, you will notice the CPU utilization of your computer will shoot way up. Okay, so let's give it a try. IP address, sweep. We still have to sweep for the agent. We can hide this one and run. Okay, let's see. So we're doing it. Okay, these windows, these two windows corresponds to the two tracers. Right? It's probably running at a high CPU utilization, so the response is a little bit slow. This one, the one where there's more data flowing out, is the tracer for the TMX symbols, and this one with less data is probably the tracer2 for the TMX exchange venture, TMX venture, because the symbols in the venture, there are not too many of them with the associated dividend information. And we are running at group C and group D already. We take a look at the CPU utilization. It's running pretty high, right? 96%, because we are essentially fetching all the raw HTML pages from the hard disk, so there's virtually no waiting time there, right? So before, the get dividend save is more like the IO bound job, but with this one it's purely CPU bound job. And for the two crawlers, remember last time I mentioned that there will be a maximum delay of 2 2 seconds. We don't need to have the delay right now because we are not sending the real request to a real dividend investor website. So if you take a look at the delay value setting, I don't specify anything, so by default that turns to the 0-second delay. And let's see, we are already halfway through, right? L to M. Oops, I forget to turn on the monitor the IPs there. So we are close to the end of the run. The Toronto Stock Exchange symbols are all used up, exhausted, and now the venture exchange is also done. And that's it. That's the end of this stress test run.